Hi everyone, hope you're all well. This is a new CW map called Vitric Forge, and this is pretty much my first look at it. Very red is my first thought. And I don't know if any of you guys have played Mechwarrior 3 or the expansion for it, Pirate's Moon, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of that. It's a nice bit of scenery there, if I don't mind saying myself. And this is, I think, the defenders' end. I think this is where the defenders will start from. So let's take a bit of a look around. See if we can get up on here.
Fuel at 25%.
So it's not the biggest map, but it's not small at the same token either.
Artillery strike online.
So there you can run around the corner rather than jump jetting over where I've just been, and you've got this piece as a bit of cover. These craters are quite deep as well, so there's quite a bit of cover you can play with around
acquired.
Here. Take a pop at him just because I can, even though it's only a bot. And that's the obligatory cannon it will have to defend at some point, no doubt. And obviously you can get round that way as well. This piece here that I jumped on was literally, you know, just me taking a shortcut. You can go left or right and get round to here. You can see some quite interesting little brawlies type short range occurrences happening around and over these. See if I can get over there. It's been a while since I've used a jump jetting mech properly, so this might be destined to fail, but you know,
fuel
we
at
tried.
25%.
Again, some possibilities for doing a bit of sniping, etc. from up here. Obviously not in the config I'm in at the moment, because this isn't far from set up for this type of thing. It's just literally something like, oh yeah, it's got jump jets, I'll jump on that. And up here to the cannon. I wouldn't not like to face a inner sphere light rush on this map, especially if it's all fire starters and small things with jump jets, because I can see them having a field day around here. There's your cannon that would have to defend with the bit obviously that you'd be shooting at if it was an attack. Let's go and have a look over there.
Fuel at 25%.
Yeah, I quite like the layout really, the way it's been set
New
up.
target
It's quite
acquired.
interesting what they've done with it. You can tell though that they've recycled a lot of parts and components from some of the other maps, which is kind of sensible really, because obviously it speeds things up for everybody concerned.
New
We
target
get
acquired.
a new map variant sooner rather than having to wait for them to, you know, design everything from the ground up. They're quite cool. Don't provide much in the way of cover, but they're still quite cool. Let's go for a run over here. Nothing really to see, I suppose, but just giving you an idea of what it'd be like coming from the other side. Massive planet in the way.
New target acquired.
Yeah, potential ranged sniping spot here, I suppose. Be able to get in there if obviously, depending on how far the actual mechanism sticks out of there. Sorry, this has to be done. I hate cicadas. Hate cicadas.
Target destroyed.
Now, can I actually get up there? I'm sure it's possible, but it's whether I physically have the skill to get up there.
Fuel at 25%.
We're in luck.
Fuel at 0%.
Give you a bit more of an overview of the area. That wonderful big planet up there. Yeah, this map could be quite interesting. It does look like it might funnel players through certain sections, which all the other CW maps have kind of done the same thing, to be honest, so there's no real big surprise there. Let's go have a look down here. Now this, I first thought, oh, is this like a little piece where you can go underneath like one of the normal maps, but no, it's just a little piece that you can duck into, which will be useful for getting out of LRM fire, etc. Yeah, I know the high ELO units don't use LRMs, but come on, Puggerland. It'll happen. Now this is the bit that interests me quite a bit. This is the bit where I'm assuming the attackers are going to come from. And there doesn't appear to be what you would call a vast amount of cover. I mean, there is some, you know, these big sweeping pieces, but I can see this being hell if the opponents are using LRMs and you don't have a few people dotted about with ECM, because they're just going to rip into you. It'd be a bit like Caustic, in as much as, you know, there's a hill, but that LRM curve is just going to come straight over the top of it. Do you know what I mean about the craters? Quite deep, so they're good for breaking direct fire weaponry, but obviously
New target
I
acquired.
have the joy of dealing with a non-direct fire. Let's go and pop up here, I think. He says.
Fuel at 25%.
These could make for some quite interesting sniping areas, I think. These little pockets they've got hidden out back here. Done in such a way that obviously you've got things you can hide behind, and obviously you've got a fair bit of range out to that citadel thing. As you can see, it's a long way away, so you would be absolutely touching the outermost tip of your range if you were going to start trying to get into a long-range snipe fest on this map. So that's realistically probably not really going to be useful, but it would be good if people did decide they're going to try and rush the spawns. Then you can jump into one of these little things, because there's another one over there, and then use the cover to try and get a fair measure of retaliation and provide covering fire for any of your fellow units that are trying to come into the spawn zone. Try and give the attacking force something to basically focus on, rather than just shooting the legs off anything that's coming out of a dropship, which seems to be a trend from what I noticed in some of my CW drops, which was yeah, I can get why units do it, but I don't think it's particularly within spirit of the game personally. You know, yeah, it's a valid tactic. It works. We've all seen it work, but it's not something that I would encourage myself. I don't think personally it's particularly fair or sporting, so especially not against pugs. You know, especially, you know, if you've got a lot of new players in the pugs and they're not getting a chance to learn, and you're not really making yourself look particularly good by, you know, ripping them to pieces in a way in which they can't really defend themselves. Especially if you're with like a good composition group, you're going to nail them anyway. It's just a matter of time, really. Let's go into the scout round here. So yeah, there's kind of cover here. Good for breaking direct fire, but like I said, LRMs could be quite nasty on this map. Another one of those pieces there that you can duck into.
Fuel at 25%.
Big old crater to sit in. I didn't look to see what sort of heat management this map has. I'm going to guess, because that kind of looks lava-y, I'm going to guess this is a warm map. Again, this wouldn't be a bad position to snipe from. You can hit the doors from here, so depending on where the turrets are going to be, you might be able to zap and then duck. But obviously you're going to need somebody to get in close to make the turrets pop up, so that they're actually properly targetable. Yeah, it's a nice map actually. I'm looking forward to doing some proper actual drops on this. I just figured I'd come for a bit of a look round and share it with you guys, so that we all have a vague idea of what to expect before we go dropping in. I'm going to do this in future when any other new maps that pop up, be it single or CW style maps. Yeah, it's going to be fun dashing in here. Some narrow firing lanes for the opposition. I'm wondering if if these things here are supposed to be where the turrets generators are that we're supposed to nail, because they're not indicated on the map. Another little dinky piece here that can be used for ducking in. Some relatively good lanes for fire. More mini bridges.
New target acquired.
Yeah, it's a nicely put together map.
New target acquired.
I'm liking what I see. Hoping you guys are as well. The glare off that's a bit much though. And here we are, more or less back where we started. So yeah, it's doesn't feel as big as some of the other maps, but it's kind of nice how it's there's not elements of it that you can't actually get round or through, which means you've got to go like a long way around. You can just go straight ahead if you want in, if you've got jump jets. So yeah, this is going to be a nice map. I'm hoping to try and get some CW drops in at some point in the next couple of days. And if I get any on this map, I'll make a point of streaming them and putting them up onto my YouTube, so anybody that wants to watch can do. Let's test the heat. That was 2 out, 2, 3. Starting to get warm.
Heat level critical.
So you can output a fair amount of
New
damage
target acquired.
before it becomes
Target destroyed.
Let's see what the ambient heat is when it drops back down, because over the course of this video I've not really been paying any attention to that. I was just kind of looking around, talking to you guys. Let's see what it says. Right, so it's a warm map, 5%, but it's not as hot as some of them. So that's noted. That might affect how some of you guys build your loadouts, or if like me, it probably won't. But it's at least worth knowing. So yeah, this was my first look at this map. I shall do more of other maps. Not sure if I'll go back and do any of the older maps. I might do, simply for something to do. But there you go. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to catch you on my next videos. Thank you for watching. Look after yourselves. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.